Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I am your host, Hector Montalvo. This show is dedicated to asking tough questions for you, the viewers. We bring you their responses, and we let you decide. Today, joining us at our MCTV studios as we continue to bring you getting to know the candidates who are seeking your vote in this election, we are joined today by no other than Central District candidate, Mr. Fadi Chahine.
Thank you, Hector.
Mr. Chahine, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I want to thank MCTV and thank you especially for allowing me to be here to talk to you and talk to the public.
Great, I appreciate it. When we start, let me just ask you this real quick. Tell the viewers, who is Fadi Chahine?
Fadi Chahine is an immigrant from Lebanon who came to this country, and I've resided in Methuen since 1992, which makes it 19 years. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Hanan Chahine. I have 4 beautiful kids. My oldest daughter, her name is Marie-Therese. My son, Charbel. My daughter, Fadia. And my baby son, Yusuf. And I have a grandchild, also named Yusuf, but he goes by the name Adrian. I am a general contractor, as well as I work as a mechanic for a bakery, fixing machineries. And I have a bachelor degree in business. I have 2 years as an associate in science from Northern Essex. I'm happy to live in Methuen. Methuen, I call Methuen my hometown. And I'm a happy married person. I mean, I'm a family person. I like to help. I like to volunteer. I do help my neighbors, especially in tough winters like snow and all this stuff. And I'm always ready to move on and help and be called a public servant, not a politician. And if I'm elected, I would not allow anyone to call me a politician, because I would love to be called servant public. That's what we get elected to do, and that's what I will do if I'm a city councilor.
Now, you ran back in 2007 and 2009?
That's correct.
For the Central District?
Right.
And you're running again now, and you have some other opponents. What made you get into the race this time around? I
don't give up. I will always try. This country taught me something, is not to give up. I would like to help, volunteer. If I'm elected as a city councilor, I like to show my ideas and let people along with me build on those ideas and move on. Methuen is facing tough situations, okay? Economy is not that great. And I just want to quote one thing. With bad economy, it's knowing that the crime rate goes up. I want Methuen to be united, not divided, for one goal, to make sure Methuen is a beautiful place for people to live in. Now,
since the last time you've run, where have you been?
I do watch, if you're asking me where I've been, I do participate, I do watch all the city councils meetings on TV. The reason I don't go to the city council because I'm a single person right now, and if I go on stand and participate, I'm not going to be listened to, okay? It's not I give up. I do follow, I do give credit to where credit is due, and I also criticize where criticism is due as well. Okay, this city right now is going backwards. We cannot afford that. I mean, people are thinking of moving out of Methuen. Tax increases are going up. Tax rates are going up. Businesses are moving. Unemployment rate is high. You see a lot of vacant places in Methuen. What are we doing to tell people, no, Methuen is a beautiful city, that we want you to stay here, we want you to live here, and we will support you as much as we can to make sure you are comfortable in your hometown.
Where do you see Methuen going at this point?
As of now, Methuen is going backwards. From a business point of view, okay, if I'm running a company and I'm given a budget, if I cannot meet that budget, I'm in trouble. If I don't perform under budget, I'm in trouble. We cannot Methuen has got to be run the same way. We cannot give open checks and say, okay, we want the residents to pay more and more and more. Where are we going to end? I mean, it's a common sense to understand that we're sinking. We're not going up. If I'm unemployed, if you're not going to help, give me a hand and let me surface above water, you're making me sink further down. Where are we going? I don't see it. The crime rate is going up. Theft, you name it. We cannot afford to cut public police department or fire department. I understand that. But there's other cuts that we could afford. We got to hold people accountable for their departments. If we don't hold them accountable for their departments, how do we know how they're doing? If we're not transparent about if Hector is in charge of a department, how's Hector doing? Is he performing within budget? Is he going above budget 20% for the last 2-3 years? I'm not saying the first year or 6 months. I'm talking about a trend. If this department going 20% above budget for the last 2-3 years, what does that tell about Hector? Is he performing? Is he efficient in his department? Is he productive? No. I'm sorry to say no. We can't just, as a resident of Methuen, I can't afford to give more. This money I worked hard for to support my family, to support my kids. This is the future of my kids, and I want to, if I'm elected as a city councilor, I want to help all the kids to have a brighter future in Methuen.
Now, you have other opponents. What makes you different from your other opponents? In this
is a very, thank you for asking me that question. This is a very interesting question. Fadi Chahine is not supported by any politician, existent or non-existent, outgoing politicians. I see on Facebook that existing councilors, Mayor Manzi, endorsing or supporting or picking and choosing who's going to be the next city councilors in Methuen. I don't think, and I said it in public and I say it on TV right now, I don't think it's right for any existing politicians, outgoing, okay, to pick and choose who's going to be the next city councilors or next public servant in the city hall. I don't think that's right. The city hall, let me end this statement. The city hall do not belong to specific families. There's no such a resident in the city hall for life, for 30 years, 20 years, 25. We have young generation are growing. We need to listen to them and let them take control a little bit of the city and where the city is going.
Where do you stand on the issue of identification of public officials in their professional and in their personal capacity?
I quote Mayor Manzi when he had the issue with the chief back there, that every department head should be held accountable for their action. If Mayor Manzi did something wrong for the city and helped divide the city, he should be held accountable like everybody else. If he's not guilty, I'll go shake his hand and say, what a wonderful job you have done, Mayor Manzi. But if he did something wrong, he's not any better than any of the residents of Methuen.
You as a city councilor, would you be rushing to identify any public official, or would you allow them, or what steps would you take to allow the people to get all the information?
It's not up to me, Hector, to allow or not allow. Okay? It's up to the public. This question should be based on people's vote. So in other words, what I'm saying is, what I'm aiming at is, this question should be put on a ballot and let the people decide if it's right to do it or if it's not. Again, you're playing with people's money. It's not the free money that came to me from nowhere. It came from the people. The people should be the final judges for any critical decision in the city. It's now up to 9 city councils to represent 28,000 residents of Methuen. That question should be based on votes. And if they allow it, I'm for it.
Now, how open, if you are to be elected, how open and transparent will you be with all your constituents, whether they agree or disagree with you?
Open government is a key for any open-minded city councilor, okay? Again, it's not about Fadi Chahine. It's not about Fadi Chahine wants to have a seat in the city hall. It's about Fadi Chahine carrying the votes of the residents to the city hall. I've said it alone, and I think I mentioned to you as well. I will establish an advisory committee in the Central District where I could place phone calls and ask questions about any critical resolution in the city hall, okay, and get some feedback. We need feedback from the people. We need to be transparent. We need to show if we're doing an honest job in the city hall, we shouldn't be afraid of anything, should we? No. We should be transparent. We should allow participation. Fadi Chahine is not Mr. Perfect Man here either. Fadi Chahine is a human like everybody else. We should have participation. A lot. Behind the scene, I said something to your teammate in here. We had a prince way back, and it's going to be a short story. We had a prince way back that he was struggling to carry water from town to his people. Okay, he had a mental disabled, what we call a mental disabled person working in the kitchen for him as a servant. But this prince used to meet with engineers, with officials, and all this, asking them about ideas to go, how to bring this water from this town to this town. And this servant was listening to him, and he's seen his prince suffering, crying, in stress, because he doesn't have the money to bring engineers and equipments. So he approached him one day. He said, my prince, can I speak with you? He said, yeah. He's an open-minded prince. He said, the servant said, I see you struggling. You want to bring water from this town to this town, and I know you love your people, and they love you. But you don't have the finance, you don't have the money for this. I have an idea. So this prince, as a human, we're human, he said, you're mentally disabled. What ideas you going to have for me? He said, Prince, are we in war? He said, no. He said, how many army you have? He said, over 1 million. I said, he asked him, he said, what are you doing? Doing nothing. We're not in war. He said, why don't you stretch this army and spread them arm length and give them a shovel, and let each one of them dig his space and connect the dots, and you could bring the water. So the prince was like, what? And he did it. This is a true story. It's not Fadi Chahine making up the story. And he brought the water from this village A to village B. So what I'm saying is, participation is key. Allow people to bring ideas to Mithun and build on their ideas. If it's good, all of us get credit for it. If it's not good, at least we tried something. We can't sit still and be one way and have only blocked vision. We have to spread our vision.
What kind of ideas does Fadi Chahine bring to the city council if you're elected? How would you work with other councilors?
I'll try to convince them with my ideas. It's only ideas, and let them think, analyze it, bring it to the table, to agree on it and put a process how we're going to do it. Fadi Chahine is not going to do it by himself. I'm only one man. Okay? If I could convince 9 or 7 or 8 and convince the constituent of the Central District and let them think about it first. Idea starts, you got to think about it, and then put a process for it. When you put a process for it and you have hands behind you helping you, you'll be successful. Not you, we will be successful. You know, I'll give you an example. The square that we have, that we call the square, we have the downtown, we call it. To me, sometimes it looks like a desert. It looks like a desert. What are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, we brought a bank, we brought this, but pass by it on the weekend, it's a desert. Why don't we have something? St. Monica's festival is gone. Why can't we bring it back? The square, why can't we have open farm weekend in the summer in the beautiful days? Why can't we have some outlet, even as a table, not as a physical building, as a table?
Hold on for a second there. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties here in the studio.
I want to say something. Like I said, you asked me what makes me unique or different. I'm not supported by any politicians. I'm not picked by any politicians like some other candidates. And even though they go in public and say, I'm endorsed, I'm supported, I'm this, I'm not. I'm Fadi Chahine, who would like to serve in the city of Mithun.
Now, let me ask you this. In regards to grants that tends to fall back on the taxpayers to pick up the tab after that, where do you stand on the issue of grants?
If it's going to backfire on us, we shouldn't accept it. We shouldn't accept it. I mean, this is something quite we don't understand. Because, like I said, we have limited vision. We ask for grants because it's good. It's quick money for us, but we don't look at the aftermath. What's going to happen when we have to put the burden on the people to pay back or to give it back? Okay. I call them the veterans of the City Hall who have served for 20, 30 years. Okay. This is something that bothered me so much. A few years ago, we had the finance acceptance from the state to renovate Mithun High at 90% cost from the state. So, in other words, we'll put the 10% of the cost on the citizens of Mithun. Right now, we went down from 90% to 60%. And as City Hall public servants, we allowed to put the burden of the 30-40% cost of the renovation on who? On us, on the citizens. So you're telling me we did our job? We thought about the residents of Mithun? No. No, we didn't. We allowed to put more burden and let the unemployed sink further down. The fixed income people to go down. Why? Why? Volunteerism is gone. We don't have auxiliary police. We don't have volunteers. Why? I don't see it. I don't see it. We should encourage volunteerism. We should encourage people to give more. Not, I make $20 an hour. I have to work only for $20 an hour. What's wrong with giving them more? Every business, private business, expects you now to give more, to be multitasked, to work hard. They cut your benefits. I remember when I used to work for Aldermill, my wife actually used to pay $30 for medical insurance. Now, we pay $175 a week for medical. So what are we doing to us? We're sinking down. Overall, our debt as a country, the whole world is mocking us outside. Why? Because we love to spend and put more burden on people.
You are watching Behind the Scenes. I am your host, Hector Montalvo. If you have a question that you want us to ask your government or legal representation, send us an email at thehectormontalvoshow@yahoo.com. You can also visit us on our website at behindthescenes.weebly.com or join us on Facebook /Behind the Scenes with Hector Montalvo. Mr. Chahine, let me ask you, what type of questions would you be asking as a councilor for your constituents?
What kind of question would I ask them?
In regards to bills that may be brought forward, maybe there might be tax increases attached to those bills. What kind of questions should the people expect to hear you asking of your fellow councilors?
First, a question I would ask myself and ask them, could we afford it? Could we afford that tax increase? What could we do more to help, to do things that allow us not to have tax increase? Could we work as a community? Could we unite ourselves for one main goal, the city of Mithun? Not what Fadi is going to gain as city councilor, or his family, or his relatives. A lot of city councilors have their brothers, nephews, sons, grandson, husband, wife, working for the city. It's like becoming their home. Nobody's allowed to touch it. This is mine. If I move out from here, something's going to happen. We have the tactics, we scare people. If I'm not elected, if you don't vote for me, the city is going to go, wow, it's going to divide into pieces. No. Every person in the city hall have the right, in Mithun, have the right to participate in any decision making in the city. And I expect phone calls from my center, from my district. I will talk to people. Jamie Atkinson, I'll give him credit for one thing. He said he would meet with people. I would meet with people as well. I would have my email, private email as well as public email, available 24 hours, 7 days, for everyone to send any emails to me or ask me or bring an idea. Again, I said it's not about Fadi. It's about, do you have an idea? Is it going to benefit the city or is it going to benefit you only? And that's how we're going to think.
Now, you mentioned Jamie Atkinson, who is an opponent of yours. and you agree on certain topics with your opponents. Is there any topic that you would disagree with your opponents that maybe have been publicly stated as of now?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I think I gave you a copy of the badge I have. I am a leader and not a follower. Jamie Atkinson has stated to me many times that he is Menzies. Okay, and I said it to him yesterday too on Facebook. He's publicly said he did the commercial with the beef, and I take it as a joke. I mean, it was fun.
That was a classic commercial.
It was a classic commercial, but there's some intention. There's some thing behind the scene for it. But he said it alone, and I applaud him. If he loves Menzies, that's great. I'm not saying he has to hate Menzies. Okay, that's fine, but don't be a flip-flop. In other words, you're afraid to say you're Menzies, but you are Menzies. I don't get it. You know, Lisa is picked, and it's picked by Menzies to vote to run. Okay, they do not want me in the city hall. Am I a threat to them? No, I don't think I'm a threat. I'm a little guy. I'm not a threat to them. But why? Why? I've been attacked because I'm Lebanese. Why? I'm a citizen. I hold an American passport. Okay? And I'll fight for this country. Okay? Don't tie me up because my background. And I'm very proud to be Lebanese. Don't get me wrong. I'm very, very proud. But don't attack me because attack my qualification. And the city councilor, I don't think any public politicians right now have the right to pick and choose. They should pick and choose after they hear the qualification of a person, not what Fadi Chahine looks like, or Jamie Atkinson looks like, or who he likes or who he hates. Based on qualification, the citizen of Methuen, the resident of Methuen should pick their next representation.
Now, where do you stand on the issue of Methuen's involvement with civil service?
Civil service was created to protect public servants from any personal attack or personal judgment from politicians, from public servants. It was meant well. Okay, right now we took it out from the chief position and so on and so on. And this is, again, it comes to a point that, okay, we pick the mayor to represent Methuen. He has a right to pick his own head departments. But he has the obligation to allow them to do their jobs. Not what's good for him as a person, what's good for the city of Methuen, or what's good for the city councilor, or what's good for whoever in the city hall. These department heads should do what's best for the city. Okay? They should provide the service. They should go above and beyond what they're asked to do to provide us the service, not cut services, for any reasons. And let me ask you a question. If we increase it, we keep a mentality of increasing taxes, and we're going to see a trend of people moving out of the city. Who's going to pay for those services after? Do we need all the services? If the city of Methuen goes from 28,000, God forbid, to 20,000, you lose 80,000 people in the long run. So what service are we providing for these people? And again, I'm not attacking a specific person, but if you have time while you're working to go on Facebook and write comments, you have time to do your job.
Now, let me ask you something. You mentioned that you got involved in government because of different issues, okay? And what would you like to see out of government?
Government, again, we elect them to do a specific job, to provide us service, to control the budget, and to be the leaders in the community. Okay? This is what I expect out of government. Provide jobs, provide safe environment, provide school and education, do public service work such as streets and so on, and make the city beautiful. I'll give you a slight example. Dick TV. Across from Dick TV, what do you see? Nothing but a vacant land. Yeah, it's full of chemicals. It needs to be cleaned. What does stop us from cleaning that surface of it and putting flowers, let's say, for an example? Making that parcel land a little beautiful. You don't have to build on it. If it's going to cost to clean, I understand. But make it appealing. Make it beautiful. No, we let it sit, let the grass grow. Nobody cares. And we expect the city to bloom. How does it work?
Now, you mentioned that you have a day job. You have 2 jobs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let's say, what assurances does the people have that, being that you do work 2 jobs, that you would be able to make meetings on a monthly basis?
Well, as a general contractor, I do subcontract, so I don't do the work myself. Yes, I do have 2 jobs, but on papers, okay? So I do have subcontractors that take the job and finish it for me. As a bakery, I have a daytime job. I'm available on the weekend. I'll be available. My phone stays with me, and I have an open environment in the bakery, and they understand. I already told them I'm running for city council in Methuen, and actually they flattered. They said we're with you. So they give me the open time to answer any question that anybody will send me. Okay, the answers for any question that people will send me, and be able to communicate with these people 24 hours a day.
Great.
I have no problem.
And now you mentioned also, and we only have a few minutes left, but you did mention that you were married and you have kids. And what I want to ask you is, what is the cheapest date you've ever taken your wife to?
Cheapest date? That's, I don't think I have actually, no, when we get married, I'll tell you this is funny. When I married my wife, I bought her a ring. It was only like $100. A little tiny diamond. This. So basically, that probably was the cheapest. But we took that ring as a symbol. We couldn't afford it. I was in school. And she accepted it. Right now, I hope my house won't be broken into. She's got $18,000, 2 diamond rings, almost a carat and a little over a carat. So 2 of them, 1 handle, 1 ring. So the cheapest one was my wedding gift for my wife, which was like $100 ring. But she took it into heart and she loved it. It is a symbol. It symbolized my love to her, and we're a happy family. I mean, like I said again, I wish the city of Methuen will work as a family, because as a family, even though we might have different ideas and we might argue, let's not take it personal for one benefit. The city of Methuen. And
Mr. Chahine, if you can look at this camera over here and just pitch to the people as to why they should choose you to become the next city councilor for the district, Central District.
Again, I would ask for the support for a few reasons. Okay, I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant. Come and see my family if you'd like. Talk to my family. They'll tell you what type of person I am. I'm a very proud parent. I like to see the city brought back and united instead of being divided and attacking